morning, everybody. Not sure if you can guess where I am. I'm at Malin Head up here at the very top of Ireland. So it's a lovely, nice, fresh morning here. Just give you a little pan around this beautiful part of the country. You see the ERA sign just there behind me. And out then behind you can see the island of Innistrahall. So, wherever you are, I hope you have a super day. Have a great Sunday. God bless. Bye-bye.
And now I'm ready for whatever you wanna do. I'm moving forward to follow after you. And now I'm ready for whatever you wanna do. Your presence is an open door. We want you, Lord, like never before. Your presence is an open door. So come now, Lord, like never before. Never before. In every season, your grace has been enough, but I'm believing the best is yet to come. The cross before me, my hope on things above, and in you, Jesus, the best is yet to come. 'Cause your presence is an open door. We want you, Lord, like never before. Your presence never before. Your presence is an open door. So come now, Lord, like never before. Come and have your way, like never before, like never before. I see you breath, wanna see you breath. You delight in the offering. You have the heavens to call your home, but you abide in the song we sing. 10,000 angels surround your throne to bring you praise that will never cease. Hallelujah from me below, still your favorite melody. Oh, we sing hallelujah, hallelujah.
took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You've been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, servant, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
So, good morning. I would like to share this morning about the life of Joseph, and I would just like to look at his life and make a comparison with him and Jesus. So, when you look at Joseph and his life, it says that he was his father's favorite, and he gets his beautiful coat, and he has dreams, and his brothers are very jealous of him. And when you read it, you could think that he was spoiled and that he was not likable, or that he was boastful, or that you could picture that in quite a negative light. But I would like to put a very different spotlight on Joseph, very different, because when you look at Joseph's life, when he was in the most terrible situation and totally on his own without anybody to impress, he showed an incredible, beautiful personality. There's Potiphar that buys this slave on the market, and he has absolutely won the biggest prize. He has bought a slave that he can trust with his entire household. Anything Joseph undertook was successful. And in the end, Potiphar, the only thing he concerned himself with was what he was eating. Everything else was managed by Joseph. So you're seeing a couple of things. One, he was very hardworking, not spoiled brat that never knew a day's work in his life. No. Very hardworking, very capable, very gifted. He must have learned another language very quickly to be able to understand, to speak, to manage. Then it says that Potiphar's wife started fancying him. He was very handsome as well, and she tries to lure him into an affair, and he says no. Here's a young man with nobody looking over his shoulder, but he has a deep fear, not fear, but a deep respect and love. I mean, that type of fear of the Lord, deeply rooted in his heart, that he was not doing to impress his parents or trying to please anybody. That was between him and the Lord. And he had an incredible strong personality and character, beautiful on the inside, beautiful person. So when I look at that and I see the brothers being jealous of him, that was a very misplaced jealousy, very misplaced. It said more about the brothers than about Joseph. And when you look at Jesus, when Jesus went around, he only did good. And he reached out to the underdog, to the unwanted people, the outcasts of society. He was kind to them and respectful, enjoyed them, delighted in people, in any sort of a person. And he did miracles, and he spoke beautiful messages to the people that absolutely touched their hearts. He never was going after riches. He never went after fame. He didn't own anything. He didn't have a big house. How incredible. And what do we see? The religious leaders were plotting to kill this incredible man. So that has nothing to do really with that Jesus was doing anything wrong to annoy them at all. It was in the heart of the other people. It was inside of them where that jealousy and that hatred came from. So also in Joseph, when we see what an incredible guy he is, the jealousy of his brothers spoke more about them and how they saw themselves, and that they felt somehow threatened. But Joseph was not a threat to them at all, never was a threat to them, but they in their own insecurity. So what I'm trying to bring out is, how do you see yourself? is very important. What is your identity? Where do you take your identity from? And so Joseph is, with the whole thing with Potiphar's wife, and he does not want an affair, and then she makes it look like he did and that she's innocent. Anyways, he ends up in prison, and then in prison again he's being put in charge, and anything that was happening there Joseph did, and I cannot but think that things improved hugely in the prison when he was there. Then you have the dreams where that he interprets for the butler and the baker, and the butler goes back and Joseph says, please remember me, and the butler doesn't, and he or the wine bearer, whatever, and then 2 years later the Pharaoh has this incredible vision, dream at night, terrifies him, absolutely terrifies him, and he calls out all the wise men and all the dream interpreters and everybody that has any gifting in that area, and nobody can tell him what it means. And then the cupbearer says, I know a man in this prison that actually interprets dreams, and he did it for me and for the baker, and it came out. So he's been called out. Now, when you have been in prison for so many years, that could have a huge effect on how you see yourself and how you carry yourself. So here's Joseph. He comes out of prison. He's been cleaned up and he's been brought to Pharaoh. He explains the dreams, and then Pharaoh says, okay, I will put you in charge of this big project. Now you go from being a prisoner to kind of being in charge of a huge project. Now, if I would look at my own self, how I could easily see that would be kind of, oh gosh, I wouldn't be able to do that. Oh, I've been very out of touch with everything. You could be very insecure and very much kind of, anybody else could do a better job than me. But Joseph is so strong on the inside because his identity is not in his circumstances. It's not in being a prisoner or being a slave. His identity does not rest in that. His identity is anchored in, I don't know exactly what it is anchored in, but it really is anchored in that he is a beloved son of his father, that he is a child of God, that there is a destiny over his life, and he just stands tall. Whatever the circumstances, he stands tall in who he is, who he truly is, not what the outside world is telling him what he is. So to be able to move from being a prisoner to being a high official, one position below Pharaoh, and do that gracefully is again showing really that his identity was not in that, but it came from a much deeper place. So you have the 7 years then of food collection, and he does that in a marvelous way, and then you have the famine starts, and then after 2 years into that is when the brothers, I think it's this, in the second year is when Benjamin comes. So maybe a year and a half into the famine or something, they started going to Egypt. And then Joseph says, please bring everybody back. The other thing is when his father arrives and they are given the best piece of land in Egypt and they all live there. And again, Joseph is not remotely embarrassed about his father. His father is incredibly important to him, that he is a shepherd, that he is, of this people group that the Egyptians despise. None of that in any way has an effect on Joseph, and Jacob is highly, highly honored by Pharaoh and respected. And then when Jacob dies and he says, please bury me in the grave of my forefathers. First of all, Joseph says he gets his father embalmed. What was it, 70 days? And he says the whole of Egypt mourned for his father. And then after the 70 days, they packed up and they started moving then back to the grave. And you think, you go from this beautiful, I picture this marble, beautiful palace with all those big, pillars and all the hieroglyphs and huge statues and the incredible pyramids, and everything is as high tech as it possibly could be for that day and age, and it was incredible. When you look at the art, it was absolutely top notch. And now you're going and bringing your father to this cave in a field. And I think I would feel embarrassed about that cave. Kind of, oh gosh, no. Joseph, not at all. Not at all. He gets the officials of the country, all the high leading officials, not Pharaoh himself, but all the other high leading officials. They're all coming with him. And everybody, the whole family goes, except for the small children and the cattle. And everybody goes. And then 7 days away from this cave, at some threshing floor, he has another week there, or is it, anyways, to get to this threshing, and I think for a whole week they mourn again Jacob, and everybody there sees, oh wow, an incredible person must have died, because all the Egyptians here are wailing and are mourning the loss of this person. And then they all travel to this cave, and in this cave are Abraham and Sarah are buried there, and Isaac and Rebekah are buried in there, and Jacob has buried Leah in there. Rachel died on the road somewhere, and she has been buried close to Bethel, but Leah was buried in that cave, and now Jacob goes in that cave. And you think, Leah was his first wife, and she also gave birth to Judah, and out of Judah's line comes the Messiah. So it's a beautiful picture of completion. So there is Jacob now, and Leah, and all the patriarchs are in this cave. Again, I want to say that Joseph does not take his identity at all from outside things, or what it looks like, or how it could be seen as. He totally stands absolutely tall, sees his father for who he truly is. This is my father who I mourn, and everybody pays this level of respect to this incredible man, and he happily goes there. So I just want to bring out again that Joseph really was not taken in by what things look like on the outside. It was all from within. He knew who he was, he knew who his father was, and the respect his father deserved, that he wanted to give to his father. And you see all of that, it's beautiful, really is beautiful. And also no revenge for his brothers. Also afterwards the brothers were really scared, thinking, oh no, our father is gone, now it's really gonna happen. And when they speak to him, really pleading, Joseph cries. He cries and cries, and then he speaks kindly to them. He speaks kindly to them, and it is a beautiful picture of he is such a beautiful picture, really, of sort of the Messiah that comes to save us. And when you look at Jesus, and how often have we misunderstood Jesus? How often have we been afraid of God to do something awful, or to just things that are so far removed from the mind of God, but that we think in our own thinking, and that we are afraid, and that we're pleading with him. But God speaks kindly to us, even if we break his heart with our unbelief and our very strange expectations from him that are so far removed from his imagination. He would also speak kindly to us and reassure us and love on us. And Joseph promises them, he says, you are here now, I know that, but one day God will bring you out. And when he does, please take my bones with you, my body with you, and bury me with my fathers. And we all know that happened. But it is a beautiful picture. And then of course when Jesus is born and they escape to Egypt, and it says, I called my son out of Egypt. There is a line, and I don't fully understand it because I haven't really studied that little bit, about the line between Jesus and Joseph, because Jesus came out of the line of Judah and not out of the line of Joseph. But anyways, Joseph is a beautiful example of somebody whose identity was entirely in the Lord and not in his circumstances. And when Judah's identity, what was first totally, I don't even know if he had an identity, But once his eyes were fixed on the truth, that he was part of the promise, he was part of the covenant, he was part of one of the 12 tribes. Once that clicked in through Tamar, he changed entirely, and we see an entirely renewed person, entirely renewed. So that were the 2 stories that I wanted to bring out. Last week we did Judah, and this week we did Joseph. And I hope you've enjoyed it and that you've learned something. Have a lovely Sunday. Bye!